Hello everyone, welcome back. What if the moment you decide to walk away is the exact moment everything changes forever? In Famine Crest, where every secret feels like it's breathing just beneath the surface, Shanice finds herself caught in a storm she'd never saw coming. Just hours after deciding to end her relationship with Ted, convinced that their love had finally run its course, she's hit with a life altering truth: she's pregnant. And suddenly, the clean break she had planned becomes tangled in something far deeper, something permanent. What follows is an emotional collision of heartbreak, fear, and impossible choices. Shanice tries to move forward alone, carrying a secret that grows heavier by the day. But in a place like Vermont Crest, nothing stays hidden forever. And when Ted begins to sense that something isn't right, their story takes a turn that neither of them is prepared for. It starts in the quietest, most intimate space, Shani's bathroom. The hum of the overhead light is almost too loud, echoing against the tiled walls, as if amplifying her anxiety. The air smells faintly of soap and damp towels, but none of it grounds her. Her hands tremble as she stares at the test, those faint pink lines cutting through her reality like a blade. In that moment, everything slows down. Her breath becomes shallow, her chest tightens, and the world feels like it's shrinking around her. She's pregnant. The words don't even feel real, like they belong to someone else's life. Just hours earlier, her mind had been made up. She had rehearsed the breakup in her head over and over again. The arguments with Ted weren't just occasional anymore. They had become the foundation of their relationship. Every late night call he refused to explain, every vague answer every time he brushed off her concerns, it all piled up. And standing there in her bathroom, she realizes how certain she had been. She was done. She was ready to walk away from the confusion, the doubt, the emotional exhaustion. But now everything feels like it's been flipped upside down. She thinks onto the edge of the bathtub, the cold porcelain grounding her just enough to keep her from spiraling completely. Her hand drifted to her stomach almost instinctively, and it hits her. This isn't just about her anymore. There is a life growing inside her, a future she didn't plan, a connection to Ted that no one argument, no breakup could ever erase. Tears blur her vision, and for a moment she just sits there listening to the faint drop of a faucet, feeling the weight of everything crash down on her. Just hours earlier, her mind had been made up. She had rehearsed the breakup in her head over and over again. The arguments with Ted weren't just occasional anymore. They had become the foundation of their relationship. Every late night call he refused to explain, every vague answer every time he brushed off her concerns, it all piled up. And standing there in her bathroom, she realizes how certain she had been. She was done. She was ready to walk away from the confusion, the doubt, the emotional exhaustion, but now everything feels like it's been flipped upside down. She sinks in onto the edge of the bathtub, the cold porcelain grounding her just enough to keep her from spiraling completely. Her hand drifts to her stomach almost instinctively, and it hits her. This isn't just about her anymore. There is a life growing inside her, a future she didn't plan, a connection to Ted that no argument, no breakup could ever erase. Tears blur her vision, and for a moment she just sits there listening to the faint drip of a faucet, feeling the weight of everything crash down on her. Memories flood in, uninvited. The way Ted used to love, that warm, effortless love that made everything feel okay. The way he looked at her like she was the center of this world, those moments feel so distant now, almost like they belong to a different story. Because layered over them are newer memories, sharp, painful ones, raised voices, accusations, silence that stretched too long. It's like her mind is replaying two completely different versions of the same relationship, and she doesn't know which one was real. Later that evening, her living room feels unfamiliar, like she stepped into someone else's life. The ticking of the clock on the wall feels louder than usual, each second dragging as she paces back and forth. She tries to rehearse what she is going to say to Ted, but the words feel hollow now. Ending things was supposed to be straightforward, clean, necessary, but how do you end a relationship when you are carrying a piece of it inside you? When the knock finally comes, it startles her. Her heart leaps into her throat, pounding so loudly she's sure he can hear it from the other side of the door. Each step she takes toward it feels heavy, like she's walking through water. And when she opens it, there he is. Dead. He looks different somehow. Tired, worn down, like the weight of everything has finally caught up to him. For a moment, neither of them speaks. The silence is thick, almost suffocating. You can feel the history between them, all the things unsaid hanging in the air when he finally says her name. It's softer than she expects, and it hits her harder than she is prepared for. They sit across from each other, the space between them feeling wider than it actually is. Shanice forces herself to speak, her voice trembling at first but growing steadier as she goes. She lays it all out, the distance, the lack of trust, the feeling that she's been slowly losing herself in this relationship. You can almost hear the cracks in her voice, the effort it takes to stay composed. Ted listens, and that's almost worse. It doesn't interrupt, doesn't argue. He just takes it all in her, his expression unreadable. When he finally speaks, there is something raw in his voice. He admits made mistakes, that he hasn't been honest, but then he says something that shifts the air in the room. He's been trying to protect her. Protect her from what? You can feel Shani's frustration boiling over, because from her perspective, all his secrecy has done is pushing her away. And honestly, you could blame her. Trust doesn't survive in silence. When she tells him she can't keep doing this, the words land heavy, final. This is the moment she had been preparing for. And yet, as she looks at him, really looks at him, you can see her resolve starting to crack. Because she is holding on to a truth that could change everything. I think we need to end this, she finally says, her voice barely holding together. The look on Ted's face, it's pure heartbreak, and for a split second, you can feel her hesitation because just hours ago, this would have been easy. Now it feels like she's tearing something apart that might still have a chance. When he turns to leave, the moment stretches, time slows down, you can almost hear the words sitting on the tip of her tongue. I'm pregnant. Three words that could stop him in his tracks. Three words that could rewrite everything. But she doesn't say them. The door closes softly, but the sound echoes like a gunshot in her chest. And just like that, it's over. Or at least, it's supposed to be. The days that follow are heavy, suffocating. Shanice moves through them like she's carrying something fragile and invisible. She avoids Ted, ignoring his calls, his messages, because how do you even begin that conversation? Every decision feels monumental, like one wrong move could change everything. But this is Fairmont Crest, and secrets, they don't stay buried for long. People start to notice the distance between Shanice and Ted becomes impossible to ignore. Whispers begin, quiet at first, then louder. And all the while, Shanice is carrying this truth alone, the weight of it pressing down on her with every passing day. One evening, sitting alone in her apartment, she finally lets herself think about the future. The room is quiet, the kind of quiet that forces you to confront your thoughts. Can she do this on her own? What kind of life can she give this child? And the question that scares her the most, does Ted have a right to know? Meanwhile, Ted isn't doing much better. The breakup doesn't sit right with him. There is a nagging feeling in the back of his mind, something he can't quite place. He replays their conversation over and over, searching for something he missed. Because deep down he knows there is more to this. When he shows up at her door again, you can feel the tension before she even opens it. This is the moment she's been avoiding, and there is no running from it now. I need to know, he says, his voice firm but etched with emotion. Is there something you are not telling me? And there it is. The moment of truth. Shani's heart is racing, her mind spinning. She could lie, she could push him away again, but she knows she can't keep this secret forever. There is something, she says, her voice barely steady. The pause that follows feels endless, and then finally she says it, I'm pregnant. The silence that follows is deafening. Ted's expression shifts in real time. Shock, confusion, disbelief. You can almost see the moment it sinks in. You are pregnant? She nods, her chest rising and falling with each breath. And just like that, everything changes. This moment completely reshapes the dynamic between Shanice and Ted. What once was a clean breakup becomes something far more complicated. There is no easy way out anymore. They are tied together by something their bigger than their broken trust. For Shanice, this forces her to confront her fears head on. Independence, responsibility, and vulnerability all collide at once. For Ted, it's a wake up call. Whatever secrets he was keeping, whatever reasons he had, they don't matter in the same way anymore. And in a place like Fairmont Crest, where every decision ripples outward, this revelation isn't just personal, it's explosive. Honestly, I can't believe she held it in for that long. Like, I get it. Fair, confusion, timing, but telling him earlier might have changed everything. At the same time, Ted really pushed her into that corner with all his secrecy. This is one of those situations where both of them messed up, but now they have to deal with something much bigger than their mistakes. Because sometimes, even in the middle of heartbreak, life has a way of rewriting the story. So, what do you think? Should Shanice have told Ted earlier, or did she do the right thing by waiting? And do you think this baby will bring them back together or push them even farther apart? Let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into Fairmont Crest drama.